welcome back to the LEC live from the Riot Games Arena in Berlin, Germany. And today we have an elimination match ahead of us in the lower bracket round 1 as we see the teams enter the arena. No special entrance for BDS this time around.
Look very normal.
Yeah, not used to it. Honestly, SK of course here as well. I'm Love and I'm joined by GB, you just heard him, but Finn as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Joining me on the desk today. So you guys always have silly bets when I have you together on the desk. Anything?
They're not silly, they're very serious.
Okay, they're very serious.
Let's get something really.
Anything you guys are cooking here? Or I think he owes you something.
He does owe me because we actually have an unresolved bet going on right now. Finn and I have a bad habit of going out together and then suddenly coming up with these bets. Last time it was about if Finn could make playoffs. He's here.
He made playoffs.
That's kind of below the belt, man.
Yeah, sorry, but that was the bet was about. And he had to eat some surströmming, which is a Swedish fermented fish, which is not nice.
Not gonna do this
He's
here, but
very
we're gonna.
scared. He hasn't done it yet, so we're waiting to resolve that one before we make new bets.
Munich.
It's a bit of a safety hazard. We'll try to make it done in Munich outside.
All right, outside of the venue. We'll see that in 2 weeks and keep the viewers posted, of course. But let's focus on the league. And where we left things off last week, I had to catch up on a lot of things, guys, honestly, being away 3 weeks. And that was an interesting experience, rewatching those VODs. Let's start with Fnatic and BDS, 3-0. Not what I expected from BDS, GB, but clearly not what I wanted to see from BDS here.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I think if you're BDS in this situation, coming off season finals where you made a random, where the gameplay kind of improved over the course of playoffs, you wanted to see more. And I think if you're a Fnatic fan, you saw a good Fnatic after the season finals where they looked very bad.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame as well, because usually BDS is known for going head-to-head with the top teams. With G2 and Fnatic, they always take few games, but this time they really just felt outclassed in all 3 of the games. And I really hope they can show some of that vigor today again against SK, because I think they really need to refine it.
You say outclassed, but I would like to have more specifics as what didn't go well for them. Was this individual mistakes, team play? I feel like everything is just falling apart for BDS.
Yeah, for BDS, it's certainly the lack of cohesion we've already seen for them. I feel like BDS to me has always been a team where each player in each position was never the best in their role. But that wasn't what made this team good. It was the fact that they had great team play. They functioned well together. But it felt like against Fnatic, they were all just kind of shut down. And this great team play we're so used to seeing from them just couldn't come through.
Yeah, and I just have 2 quick points. I think first of all, Nuke had a lot of sloppy moments with Illusion. He flashed in, he did a lot of unnecessary plays that put him behind. And I also think that I really want to see Ice on Hypercarriers today, because I feel like he's not... I mean, he's good on Jhin and Six, but I feel like the team needs him to step up and be more of that carry in the end.
And on the other side, we're going to see Fnatic face off against MDK, which is not something that I expected at all. G2 going to the loser bracket here as well, but man, what a great showing from MDK. They're so exciting to watch in playoffs.
You can't stop them. Worlds is on the lines. This team somehow, some way, always finds a way to do it. And I mean, you're right. They have been incredibly exciting to watch. I think Mewin with the top lane picks was... I mean, normally I don't like seeing a range top lane on the enemy team, but competitively from Mewin like this, it's so exciting. You just don't know what you're going to get. They didn't know what they were going to get, and it was so fun to watch.
I mean, you can't hate the guy. This guy blind picks Nidalee in a game 5 against G2 and absolutely pops off. Like, look at this, just 5 different champions. The Lulu sure didn't work out, but the Cork is very small. There's so many good performances from him.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you see these picks from Mirvin, but you don't expect Frescovi to just step up his game as well. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to have in the rest of playoffs. But something that we've mentioned is that G2 messed it up for everyone looking to qualify at Worlds here. So before we jump into the action, Medic will explain how teams can qualify to Worlds.
Thank you very much, Laura. Yeah, I'm here to break it down to make it as simple as possible for all of you at home to understand how we send our 3 European teams to Worlds this year. It's the season finals, not the seasoning finals. That's held at the Spice Awards in Glasgow on the 9th of September, so you can grab your tickets for that if you want to. But if you want to watch the season finals, this is what we have on the cards. All that really matters is which 2 teams make it to our grand finals. If G2 aren't there, it will be G2 and then our 2 finalists going to Worlds, because G2 already have a guaranteed seed after they won our 3 regular seasons, or our 3 splits throughout the year. Now, if G2 make it to the grand finals, then whichever team ends up losing this lower bracket match in Munich the day before the finals will also be going to Worlds. So, to make it as simple as possible for all of you at home, if you make it to the finals, you go to Worlds. If G2 make it to the finals, whichever team ends in 3rd will also go to Worlds. Looking ahead at the season finals, though, the LEC Expo is back with lots of activities at Odeon's Platz on August 31st and September 1st. There's no ticket needed at all to attend the Expo, so come over, grab some swag, and get hyped before watching all of the games. You can go to lec.gg/expo to find out more information on what we have in store for you. And for all the lovely cosplayers out there, the deadline for signing up for the Kia cosplay contest is today, with a grand prize of €4,000. For more details, you can check out lec.gg/cosplay. Now, Janiro is standing by with our favorite gnome cosplayer, Niski, in our Marriott Bomboy pre-game lobby.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Niski, as well for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's have a conversation about this best of 5 that we're heading into. I'd like to know, how has it been in the SK camp? How has the prep been looking like?
I mean, it's been multiple weeks now that we've been scrimming and like watching other teams, trying to learn from them, watching lots of LPL, LCK, trying to redefine our meta because it's a new patch. And yeah, I think we've been doing a good job. I mean, still some fumbles like left and right, but I think we've been on the right track. And I believe we improved compared to the last time we played, yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. But we're looking at BDS, and that's a team that as well has kind of been making a couple of changes. They're looking to find a new identity. They're mixing things up a little bit. What's your read on their side of things?
I mean, I think BDS didn't really change much, in my opinion, from the way they played the whole year. They just like objectives a lot. They play team fighting comps. They play a lot of like AP junglers, AD mids. I'm not sure if that's going to change today, but maybe because it's a new patch. And yeah, I think their main carry is still Ice, in my opinion. And I feel like they have kind of lost themselves. Last time they played, they were playing kind of shaky in some ways. They didn't look as clean as they would in general. So I feel like today will be very crucial for both teams to play like a clean game, because I believe one of us will fail in some regards and like towards the mid game, and I think the team that plays the cleanest will probably win. And I think it's going to be on who's going to make the most mistakes rather than the one that plays the cleanest, yeah.
That sounds like classic League of Legends here at the LEC. When it comes to the LEC particularly and the teams and maybe the shakiness that we've seen in general, what do you think has been the main pushing factor behind that?
I feel like our team fights are very weird in LEC. Like they are not going as expected, kinda. There's always someone like trolling or like doing a bad like Corki, W and whatnot, or engages too fast. Meanwhile, I feel like in LCK LPL, they kind of play very, very clean, very slow. They wait for poke, they hold the zone and whatnot. And I feel like in LCK is more about like kills rather than objectives. Not that much about like the vision and the map, but more just to kill people.
Yeah.
I think that's the main difference, and that's why I think LEC has looked worse. And also I feel like whenever a team has a lead, they usually give it away, even like Fnatic in the finals, and I think G2 as well did some. So yeah, I feel like I know EU is not in a good state, so yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to see whether there's going to be a redemption arc today. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Good luck in the game. And Laure, back to you.
Thank you so much, Ginny. Amazing to have Niski's take on the state of the league. We will see him in the Rift in just a few moments. But first, we have to settle a debate over here ahead of today, because both VDS and SK showed us that they can have what it takes to compete with the very best. But one of them will fumble today, and if they do, everything stops. Both teams need to show up big now, or they will miss out on both Munich and Worlds in Europe. So who showed the most to the LEC fans? Who between BDS and SK has what it takes to be convincing and take it to the next round? GB, you'll be debating for SK, and Fini will be debating for BDS. And you guys in chat at home can vote and spam BDS or SK. 30 seconds on the clock to present each of your arguments every time. GB, you go first with SK because we saw them a while ago.
We have to talk about objective control. It used to be something that defined BDS as the best team in terms of doing that, but it has now become SK. I realize it's been a while since we've seen SK, and it wasn't the best from what we saw in season finals. But I do want to remind you how good this team looked when they were at their peak. And that's what I'm thinking is going to come out today. Look at these objective stats. Almost highest Drake percentage, the Herald percentage as well. It's all about controlling the objectives to control the game. And SK has become so good at that while BDS has kind of been under-delivering on what they used to be so good at.
Controlled arguments here on the clock, GV. Well done. Finn, anything you want to answer this or present the second argument?
Yeah, I don't think his outdated stats are relevant in today's discussion.
It's for summer.
Because last time we saw SK play, they lost to K-Corp, who BDS promptly beat last time they played each other. There's a reason we haven't seen SK in a long while. That is because they have been weak. And you mentioned objective control. I think their objective control is frankly not up to par right now. Cross maps, dragons, grubs. I think BDS has mastered this aspect of the game, and these are strong fundamentals they can fall back onto when the going gets tough. When the pressure's on in an elimination match, I think BDS will come out on top.
And your time is up, Finn. Amazingly controlled here, but I'm guessing that BDS has something that doesn't work quite so well, and punishable mistakes here on the side of SK.
I mean, absolutely, and I agree. Listen, I know SK's obviously didn't make as far as run as BDS did, but I think that potential is there. And I think they have 5 gifted individuals who's able to punish. Like last time when we saw these two teams play against each other, BDS did something that they've been doing a lot. They've been making late game mistakes. As Niski was saying in the own interview as well, it really comes down to who can play the most clean mid to late game. And I gotta say, I'm throwing my ball over in the court at SK because I believe their gifted individuals with the break that they've had is enough for them to have cleaned up their gameplay once again and beat BDS.
I've seen that clip a while ago. I'm wondering what the audience is going to think
Whose
about
side
this.
are you on?
The gifted individuals is one thing, sure. I mean, that is debatable for the first part, but I think SK lacks cohesion. When I think BDS, I think cohesion. I think Labrov on a flank, I think Adam hitting a key skill shot, and then 5 people pounces in exact same moment. When I think SK, I see 5 people running around, one guy suddenly flashes in, and then 4 people is like, oh, we're fighting now, and suddenly they're all trying to help the guy, but in the end they're always going to come in a little bit late. Here we see a great clip of BDS who's having a very well executed fight against K-Corp, who beat SK by the way, and just running them over on a Herald situation.
Stop laughing. You're making your opponent laugh. I'm thinking that you're doing well.
He's very good at this.
We focused on macro aspects of the game. I want to focus on specific individuals, going with UGB.
I will agree with Finn that sometimes the cohesion has been a bit better, but let's look at those individuals because there is a bit outlier, and that is up in the top lane. Right now, with the level of play that top lane has, I mean, showed, I think, a relevance in a grand position to actually solidify himself as the best top laner at season finals. He's the best laner, at least from stat-wise, coming through from the top lane. And honestly, the meta is perfect for him. You pair that up against the fact that he's playing against Adam, who's had, well, let's say, not the best split so far in summer. I think there's going to be a big outlier in the top lane.
We have 76% of the fans thinking that SK is going to win, so I'm going to give the floor to BDS.
You give a lot of fancy stats, Goldberg boy, but I see same stats, but same, like, he has better laning stats, but they have the same damage in the end. It doesn't matter how well you lane if you end up with the same damage per minute as Adam. Adam has by far the highest amount of solo kills that we've seen in a long time over the course of the year. 30 solo kills and a wide champion pool. Irrelevant is some kind of Neo Alpharis type of player that plays his Gnar, he plays his Renekton, he plays his Jax, but it doesn't do much more than that. He gets his lane advantages and then he fades away into the game state. Well, Adam always has an impact, no matter how hectic the game.
And that's it here. I think we've heard enough from both sides. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And we're gonna head to the casters because it's time to settle on the Rift who we think will win, SK or BDS. Take it away, guys.